Well, Michiganders have their chance to weigh in on the race for the White House in as soon as 16 days. That's all thanks to new election rules passed by voters in 2022.
Yeah, starting this year, the state is required to provide at least 9 days of in-person early voting for all eligible voters. Our David Sackrider joins us in the studio now. And David, what does that early voting process look like here in mid-Michigan?
The process varies depending on where you live. Each county is handling the election a little bit differently. Here in Genesee County, each individual township and city is responsible for their own elections.
For myself, I wanted to make sure that my voters weren't inconvenienced by having to drive all the way to Flint to early vote.
Cynthia Bryan is the clerk for Vienna Charter Township. She says taking on the responsibility for early voting has led to almost double the cost of running the last presidential primary in 2020.
There's no revenue stream, but you still have to pay for, we'll have 4 election inspectors every day of those 9 days of early voting for 8 hours a day, paying them $15 an hour.
Bryan says the state is providing some funding to cover the pay of election workers, but it's not enough to cover all of the expenses. In Saginaw County, the county clerk is taking that responsibility off of the local municipalities. The county is offering one location for all residents to early vote.
We save millions of dollars by joining forces together and having one site versus having our 30 jurisdictions be forced to do it all on their own.
There is a trade-off, though. With the county taking over early voting, some residents will have to travel farther to take advantage.
We want to be mindful of taxpayer dollars, so we're going to start small. If we find that there's great usage from folks, then we'll definitely consider expanding, but we didn't want to waste tax dollars on something that might not get used as much as we're expecting right away.
Of course, just because you can vote early doesn't mean you have to. You can always vote in person on Election Day as usual, and votes will not be counted until then. For more information on where to vote, you can find a link attached to this story on abc12.com. In studio, David Sackrider, ABC 12 News.